Hey everyone, it's Coach Sheree here. And this is Thriving Solo Thursdays. Come on in, and let's get started. I won't be before you long. It's Thriving Solo Thursday. So today we're going to be ending the topic dating as a single parent, part three of this series that I've been talking about. Probably going to do some more conversations on it, thinking about doing a panel discussion. Sounds really, really exciting. So if you are a single mom, single dad, definitely send me a direct message or um, email me at info@thesingleparentlifecoach.com, and that way we can kind of discuss what that panel discussion looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna give a few more minutes, a few more seconds for people to come on. See here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I won't be before you long, as I stated beforehand. I'm gonna try to just dive right into it. Again, let me put this disclaimer out there. If anything that you hear me talk about is just things that I know have helped me, things that are still helping me. And so I just want to go be that person that people can hear those things from and encourage you. And so that you don't feel like you're the only one going through certain things or dealing with certain things or don't know where to start. So today, we're going to be covering the essential steps and strategies on how to date while keeping your children's well being a priority. We want to talk about healing from past relationships, dealing with external judgment or internal judgment, criticism, and being a positive role model for your children. So let's jump right in. So, first things first, protecting your children while dating. What that really means is that you're ensuring that their emotional and physical safety is maintained as you explore new relationships, meaning that you don't want to um, bring any type of harm or danger to your children. You don't want to sever any type of relationship with your children. Also, you don't want to make them feel like you're spending more time with that person. You want to make sure that than you are with them, and you want to make sure that you are balancing things out and that you're taking their concerns into consideration. So, step one, set those boundaries early on. Whatever your current routines are, you want to keep those routines up with your children. You want to make sure that they don't interfere with everything that you all do on a weekly or daily basis. So, step one, boundaries, set your boundaries early on. I'm real big about that too. Keep your dating life separate from your personal life or your life with your children until you are sure that the relationship has reached some type of level of stability. And step two, you want to be honest with where you are in your relationship with your children. You want to have conversations about it because they're going to see you having a conversation over the phone, maybe see you leaving to go out on a date, and so on and so forth. And you want to make sure that you talk about these things because they're going to say, "Hey, mom, I know mine do. Mom, how's everything going? You know, so you want to share, age appropriate information too, to help them feel like they're included yet secure. And what I mean by that is, every children won't understand everything, but make sure you keep it on their level to where they can understand. Find relatable things that you can relate to. That will allow them to understand. If you have younger children, find a cartoon or a show that they like to watch. Or for me, I have teenagers and an adult. And so sometimes referencing things like from TikTok or just movies, can kind of help them understand where I'm at in my dating, on my dating journey. So step three, prioritize safety. Always when you're meeting someone for the first time, always meet in a safe environment, safe, neutral location, where there are people. Um, Before you start introducing them to your children. You want to make sure that even if they have a child, that you guys, when you decide to do that, that it's a fun thing, it's a fun outing as a family, and so the kids don't feel, um, so that they don't feel like, of course not include, so they can feel included, but of course you want to make sure that they feel safe, that they feel like, this person's not going to harm me, but they're definitely not going to harm my mom or my father. And so those are things that you want to make sure of. Step one, setting the boundaries early on. Step two, being honest with your children at where you are, and that dating on that dating journey. If you decided to move into a relationship or keep it at a friendship level, be honest with your children so that they know, because they hear things. Children don't do things by what they hear, they do things by what they observe. And so they're going to look at your actions. And then the third thing, prioritize safety. Always make sure that you share your location with your children. Make sure they know where you are at all times. If they're younger, make sure whoever's watching your children, make sure that they know where you are at all times, because things are happening these days that we have no control over. So, but as you are out in the dating world as a single parent and you are protecting your children while you're dating, make sure before stepping into that dating world and into anything serious that you have healed from past relationships. And what that means is that you are acknowledging and processing emotions to grow so that you can move forward in a healthy way. And step one, you want to reflect on the lessons that you've learned. Identify what you gained from past relationships to help guide you on your future choices that you make, your future decision making. Step two, you want to embrace self care. Make time for activities that, don't just include that significant other or that person that you found an interest in as far as a relationship. You want to make sure that you keep those self care activities going, so that you can support your emotional well being. Step three, you want to make sure that you um, set boundaries when it comes to the exes. Sometimes some of us like to maintain friends with people and that we've dated before, and you could have created a friendship. The relationship could have derived from a friendship, but sometimes the friendship is where it needs to stay at. So be careful about that. Protecting your space and energy. Make sure that when you're in your healing process, allow yourself time to heal before entering anything new. Even if you're getting to that place where I'm tired of being by myself, I really want someone. I desire companionship. Of course, we all do. But one thing you don't want to do is carry old things into a new relationship. You don't want to have wounds that haven't healed. Just like a cut you get on your arm, you want to clean it. You want to put ointment on it, whatever it'll take to heal it, and put a bandage on it. Once it's healed, you're like, oh, okay, it's a scar there, but sometimes we scratch it and we reopen that wound. And so then it's bleeding again. So what you don't want to do is go into a relationship bleeding on that other person when they may have already did the work to heal. And then here you are, you will miss out on someone that could possibly be the person for you. But if you're not healed from the previous relationships, you're going to find yourself in a situation where you are not only hindering yourself from being loved correctly, you will hinder that person from have given them the opportunity to love someone and receive it in return. So again, heal it from when you're making sure that you're healed from past relationships. Make sure that you're reflecting on the lessons learned in previous relationships. Make sure that you're still embracing your self care while dating. Very important. Make sure you're setting boundaries to protect your space. Don't allow anyone in your space and energy until you're ready. Until you're ready to fully embrace a new relationship. It takes time. You have to go through a process of it. If that person's not understanding of what you're dealing with, what you may have to go through to get to that place, to desire being in a deeply committed relationship, then okay, well, you know what? That may not be the person for you. And it's okay to acknowledge that and say, you know what, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Move on. Really just that simple. Sometimes we make it hard because we don't know what our boundaries are. Because sometimes we desire what we want more than what we than setting the boundaries, then embracing our self care, and also reflecting on those lessons learned. So again, Um, Step one, reflect on lessons learned. Step two, embrace your self care. Step three, set your boundaries. And then number three, dealing with as a single parent, when you're deciding a date, sometimes people, depending on who your influences are, who's in your circle, sometimes people will be judgmental and be critical of who you choose to date. And so when you're dealing with judgment or criticism, that just typically means that, what you're wanting to do is manage the negative opinions of others, while staying true to yourself and your parenting path. People will say, oh, well, you're not ready to date because you didn't heal from the last one. Well, that's their opinion. Maybe you want to see if you have learned, the lesson from the previous relationship. Maybe you just want to get out there and date, because dating doesn't mean that you're exclusively in a relationship with anyone. I think that's where people get that confused. Dating basically mean what it is. You're going on a date. You're spending time with someone, getting to know them. And so when you're dealing with judgment and criticism, step one, the thing that you want to do is recognize the source. Who is it coming from? Determine if if this criticism is coming from someone on a corrective level, that someone you value, someone that is coming from a helpful place, and or if it's just simply noise that should be ignored. Sometimes people will give you their opinion, and to me, I will always say this: you're not in my shoes, so your opinion is pretty much what it is. Everyone has an opinion, just like everyone has a mouth, an ear. For lack of better words, everyone has an opinion, just like everyone has a butthole. It's really that simple. So let them have that. Let them keep that. That's theirs. It does not show ownership to you. You don't allow people to hold you hostage. You don't give them permission to hold you hostage from the things that you have dealt with in your past. It's simply just that. It's in your past. And so the first thing, the second step, I'm sorry, is to stay grounded. You know, remain confident in how you're parenting and even your personal choices. Remind yourself of your worth. You are worthy of love, but love yourself first. Pour into you. Understand who you are. Be confident in who you are, and be with false flaws and all. I know I am. And when people show me who they are, or they decide to say, okay, I'm not dealing with that person like I was dealing with them, people come and go. You know what? And sometimes you can just quietly move yourself from that person, or quietly move yourself from the equation. And either people are going to gravitate back to you and say, yes, I was dealing with this, I was dealing with that. Or people will basically be who they are. And the key thing is, once people show you, believe them. Once they show you, don't allow yourself to keep going back and forth into a situation, or with whether it's relationally or on a friendship type of relationship. Don't keep allowing yourself to go back into a situation that you didn't receive reciprocated responses. Like if go out your way to be who you are. Not saying that people have to be like you. Don't get that confused. What I'm saying is this: stay true to who you are. Be confident and be prayerful. And the things that you need to change, that they'll show up, especially when it comes to your children, even for yourself. Don't be your worst critic, but don't stay in a place where you know that change needs to exist. It needs to take place. And so the step three, respond or let go. Address the constructive feedback thoughtfully. Because again, people can give you constructive insight. Sometimes you don't want to hear it. Give it time and process it. Because sometimes the reason why we get upset is because there is some type of truth to it. And a lot of times we don't want to hear it. So make sure that you um, decide whether or not this is something I need to respond to. I need to change this, or just let go of it. Let it roll off your back. That's their opinion. And so, but anything that's negative and unwarranted negativity, let that go, because you don't need it. It doesn't serve any type of purpose in your life. So last but not least, I'm going to talk about being a role model for your children, and all these things that we've talked about tonight, those definitely tie into this one. Um, Basically making sure that you are protecting your children while you're dating, making sure that you're healed from past relationships before moving on into anything else. And even when I talk about healed from past relationships, just doesn't mean romantically. It could possibly mean in a relationship with family members, whether it's a sister, brother, cousin, father, mother, whatever. You want to make sure that you're healed from those relationships, because anything can trigger you to respond to someone in the wrong way, and make sure that person's even capable of understanding why you responded. And so then, of course, dealing with judgment and criticism, you want to make sure that you understand how you can counteract that. Like whatever is unwarranted, don't respond to it. Let it go. Unwarranted negativity, let it go. But if there's constructive criticism given, and think about it, and thank them for giving you their feedback, and think about ways that you can change in that area or find some type of resolve. So, last but not least, being a role model for your children. What this basically means is demonstrating the values and behaviors you want your children to adopt, to respect, to adopt, like respect and love and healthy boundaries. And one reason why I say that is because, um, again, if we think about our actions and we think about our children doing them, would we want them to go in that, make that same choice? We would want them to go in that same direction. Something to ponder on. So, step one, show consistency. Your actions should align with the values you preach, showing your kids integrity in real time, not just after the fact of. Step two, demonstrate respect. Model how you treat yourself and others with kindness and understanding. Even when it's a tense situation, you want to make sure, hey, I'm treating that person with respect. I gave them a hug, even though I think they may still be who they are, or I respectfully pull myself from the equation because I don't want to have conflict, or I don't want to bump heads or be disrespectful, because we all have those areas in our lives where we can be disrespectful. We can say things that are hurt, that are cut deep. Even sometimes not just our words, our actions can. And so, but everyone involved in a situation such as that need to have a conversation. Communication is key for me. If you don't communicate it, I don't know I need to change it. I don't know I hurt you. I don't know that I said something that made you pull away. So again, sometimes it's not always on you. Sometimes it is that other person taking kind of accountability and speaking up for themselves. That's where self-awareness comes in, it, and self-love and self-worth, knowing who you are, and even um, respecting yourself. So in order to respect someone else, you have to respect yourself. And then you can show your children, how to understand what um, kindness to yourself is, what respect to yourself is. And then you can show that to others. Step three, you want to, again, even in this area, healthy boundaries. Teach your children the importance of boundaries by setting your own and respecting theirs. One of the things that I like to do is when my kids say, hey, um, mom, I'm just gonna go in my room for now. I'm like, oh, but I want you to come here with me. I want you to watch TV with me. Mom, I had a long day. I'm tired. I just really need a break, and I just really need. We have to respect those things, especially if they are opening their mouth and saying it. Because kids these days, they have so many things to deal with. They don't have time to say. How often do you know kids that will say, hey, or children that will say, I just need a break. My mental health is, it's all in how you keep that open line of communication for your children, that safe space. The conversations that you have are very important with them. And so you want to make sure that they understand that the boundaries that are there, and teach them the importance of it, and making sure that you emphasize the importance. And so in closing, these are just topics that remind us that, as single parents, our journey is filled with so many different lessons that not only shape ourselves, but our children. And, I can't talk today, by prioritizing their safety and learning from past, relationships, healing from criticism, and, coming out on top, being very resilient, embodying the values that we want them to learn. We definitely paved the way for stronger children, stronger relationships, a stronger, happier family life. And so, keep showing up for yourself, keep showing up for your children. And you know what? Just know you're doing an amazing job. And that's all you can do. No matter if you know you're doing your best, that's what matters, no matter what someone else says. So until next time, I hope you guys have received some insightful information on tonight. I hope it's something to help you get through things that you may encounter in your single parenthood life, and so just know you're not alone. Just know you're not the only person dealing with these things or dealing with certain things. So, again, if you have any questions, definitely send me a direct message. You can comment under this live today, or you can email me at info@thesingleparentlifecoach.com. Until next time, I will see you on next Thursday. Stay thriving.